Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. Today we have a fun new recipe. I've kind of shared a version of this before, but we have tweaked it to make it the way we like it. And this is like our family's take on it. We're calling it Not Your Mama's Atole because it has a few different ingredients in it that are not a typical Atole. But it is delicious. It is warm and cozy. It is perfect for the holidays. So I'm going to jump in and show you how to make this. We are testing out new mics today, so I'm hoping it works. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. And let's get started. I'm going to go drink mine. So in a small pot, you're going to add a 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. And then you're going to add a 1/2 cup of masa harina and 3 tablespoons of dry coconut milk. And then 1.5 teaspoons of apple pie spice. Okay, so we moved it over to the stove and we are going to add 4 cups of water. Now, if you do not have the dry coconut powder that we added, then you would do 3 cups water, 1 cup coconut milk, or 3 cups water, 1 cup milk if you don't care if it is dairy free. All right, so we're going to turn this heat on to medium high, and I'm going to mix this all together. We're going to leave it on medium high until it starts to boil. Then we're going to turn it down to a low medium and let it simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. I'll tell you with our stove and where I put it at, it's usually between 8 and 10 minutes, but everybody's going to set their heat slightly different. So I say 5 to 10 minutes. If you wanted to, you could have sifted the coconut milk, but this is all going to dissolve down good in the water as soon as it starts to heat up. The heat's going to help it. So I'm going to let this start heating up, and I'll bring you back in probably about a minute and show you what it looks like at that point. I'm not going to stir anymore until I bring you back. So we are back, and it's starting to heat up. I am going to re-stir again. Back here I have some bread right at the end of its final rise. I'm preheating the oven so we can have some sandwich bread. It's been about 2 minutes since we were on camera last, and it's already heating up pretty fast. My big thing is I don't want anything to burn on the bottom. So we're going to give it another minute or two and then drop it down in temperature. Back, and what I'm looking for is hard to show, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but around the edge right here, as it's starting to have little tiny bubbles come up. So I know the edge of the pot is heating up, and then all of the liquid is starting to kind of shake. It's not really bubbling, but it's not really boiling, but it is starting to get the heat in there. It's moving around. And that's when I know I'm about at the point where it's time to lower this heat. It's going to shake a little bit more before it bubbles because there's lots of other ingredients in here that are heavier. If it was just water, it would be boiling already by now. So I'm going to go ahead and move that heat down to a medium low. And I need to stir again because this is going to start to stick to the bottom. I can feel it saying, I want to stay here. And this moss is really going to thicken up in here and kind of create a thicker texture. Now, this is one of those, I don't know if you, when you were a kid, if your mom ever made you like the leftover rice with milk and a little bit of sugar before bed to help you sleep. My mom used to do that when I was little, and without fail, it worked. You're getting something warm and cozy that fills you up a little bit more and helps you sleep. So this is kind of that take. It's a warm, cozy, almost like a cereal drink, but not a cereal drink. The longer you let it sit, the thicker it's going to get. And everybody has their preference on how thick that they want it. And so I will show you what ours is. Now we drink this right away. So I'll show you when we stop. And then as soon as it's cool enough to drink, we're drinking it. But it's delicious. It kind of gives you that little bit of a feeling of full belly that you ate something. And it has the sweetness and it has just all the cozy flavors. So sometimes we'll do this in the morning like we are today. And we're going to do this when we wake up late and we just need a little something. And then we'll have lunch in a little while. And this is just that little bit to hold you over instead of making a breakfast. But it's really good cozied up and drinking this in front of a fire. So my husband was raised in a Mexican household because he's Mexican American. And he had this on colder winter days and like Christmas morning. This is not an all the time beverage. This is a specialty thing because obviously it's has a lot of sugar in it and it's masa and so forth. So, but it's a fun drink to have on those special occasions. And so I can see having this ready on Christmas morning, ready to drink. Let the kids have some, open their Christmas presents, and then do an actual breakfast or brunch after all the presents. And it'll tide them over so they're not starving. But it's that special holiday drink. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're now letting it sit for that 5 to 10 minutes. And this is when it's probably going to be closer to 8 minutes for this to be done for us. So I'm going to turn off the camera and I'll be checking back in because you're going to see a difference here right now. It's not very thick. You're not leaving traces, kind of like making whipped cream. You're not leaving any trace marks. It's just the kind of the foam at the top here that you're seeing the lines in. So there's no tension in this. And so I will show you as we start to thicken up what we are looking for. But you do want to stir this frequently because you don't want anything to stick or to burn. So it's been about 7 minutes, and I don't know if you can tell here, but the swirls change on how long it takes them to go back. Everything's moving slower. I don't know if you can see the difference from what it was. There's more resistance, but there's no way for you to really see that the same way. The other thing is you can actually see this looks like the masa is absorbing the liquid, so you can see the masa suspended throughout this. It's just not just all sitting on the bottom. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. I think this is going to be possibly one of the best ways to show you. So it's a little thicker. It's not just watery. You can see it leaving stuff behind. It pours off a little heavier than if it was water pouring off. And now it's actually thickening up a lot just since we've been back on here. This last couple of minutes really changes that texture. I'm going to say we're pretty close here. You can kind of see as I stir it with the spoon, it's like deeper. I don't know how to describe it. But it's definitely thickening. So we are about there. I'm going to get the very last ingredient. I'd like to point out here, there's no foam to trace anymore. Like, it's all one color and it stays that way. That's a good indication that it's done. All right, so I'm going to turn the heat off because I'm using real vanilla extract and I don't want to pour it over an open flame. And we're going to add about 2 teaspoons. And that's it. It's probably a little bit more than 2 teaspoons. And I'm going to stir this in really well. And then I'm going to serve this up. And I'll bring us back over to the island for that. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in. This really makes 4 servings. These cups are huge though. So that's about as far as I'm going to go. You can top it with some extra cinnamon if you want to. I think it's fine the way it is. I serve it with a spoon in it as well, but in case anybody leaves it sitting for too long and they need to stir it up. But it's delicious. Okay, it's time to try it. It's super hot. Be careful, you can burn yourself.
Tastes good.
Super good?
Yes.
Different than childhood? It brings back memories?
Yes, brings back memories.
You're acting so weird.
I don't know where you had me come over. I'm like, okay.
He didn't know he was going to go on camera.
Not prepped.
So, definitely make this like my Christmas mug, Naughty Till Coffee. And he's
bah humbug.
Bah humbug. So this is a fun holiday thing. So you had this Christmas and when it was cold out in the winter. Yes. Did you have it for like breakfast or after dinner or just specialty?
It was just like drinking coffee.
Just like drinking coffee? That works.
Yes.
So make it, try it. I'd love to hear what you think below. And we will see you on the next video.